So this is the build video for a talking skull using the Ocular Vox kit. I'll do a quick unboxing here and then we'll get started. So inside we got a cool sticker, a getting started guide, we got the board itself, 2 LCD eyeballs, a bag of hardware, screws, and a bag with some brackets and some cables in it. So let's get to work on this. This kit is designed to be used on any skull or creation, mask, whatever you want to use it on. Today we're just going to use a standard off-the-shelf Home Depot skeleton. This is the basic $35 version, nothing fancy here. So we're going to go ahead and open them up and bring them to life. So we're going to start by taking the skull off. Alright, here we go. Opening up. We got some, let's get this out of the way. So we got these LEDs in here, eyeballs. We can take those out. We're not gonna need those anymore. Alright. In fact, we can just yank this whole thing right out. Don't need these at all. Alright. Get rid of this while we're at it as well. Okay. So here we got, so this Home Depot skull was actually already made for talking. You can see the jaw here. They got it captive with the 2 screws, so all we have to do is take these 2 screws out and put them in the opposite holes here, and we'll have a nice freely moving jaw. And now I got a nice, freely, easy moving jaw. We got the little lever there and everything, ready to go. Good stuff. Alright. Next, we're going to drill out sockets for the eyes. I'm going to use this as a 1.5 inch hole saw. You don't need anything special, it's just soft plastic. And we got the little starter holes there already. Just going to line those up and go right in. Nice and easy. We'll use a knife to trim some of this out. Go. Alright, there's one eye ready. And the other one. Alright, close enough. Alright, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit with the knife. Alright, and we're ready for the eyes. All Alright, we have our two LCD eyeballs. We have our brackets and our cables. So each kit should have two long cables and two short cables. You can use whichever you want. I'm going to use the long cables for this one. The other ones you can just throw away or keep as a souvenir. Same with the brackets. There's horizontal brackets and vertical brackets for the eyeballs. For this one, I'm going to use the horizontal ones. So let's open these up. Now some kits have lenses attached to the LCDs. Some do not. This one does not. But the procedure is still the same. So we'll turn this over. There's a little thing that slides out there. And we slide the cable in there, right underneath that pullout. Blue side up. You have to bend it a little bit. Get it in there. There it goes. It doesn't go all the way in, but you'll feel it once it goes in there. And you slide that back down to lock it in. And it won't go anywhere. Alright, these are ready to go. I want to mount these to the brackets. There's 8 black screws in here. You don't need to use all of them. Two per eye is good. You can use all if you want, but I'm just going to go with 2 per eye here. My mistake. So these have covers over the holes here to protect the threads. I'm going to cut these off. Good way to do this is with a sharp tool. You can poke through, pry it off. Alright, and our first eyeball is ready to go. Do a quick fit check here. So the flat part should go on the bottom, but at the end of the day it doesn't really matter. You can always adjust it or change it in the software. These eyes are kind of a tight fit here. I'm just going to open these up just a little more. Alright, so the way this works is we're going to stick these in here and spread these arms out on the bracket and use those to hold it in place. There are screw holes in here. If you want a more permanent installation, you can screw it in. For now, I'm just going to use hot glue though, and it seems to hold just fine. So here we go. Okay, so we got both eyeballs in now. Not pretty, but it doesn't have to be. This is good enough. Alright, almost forgot our servo. This should be included in the kit. It comes with its own little hardware bag. One thing we want to do is orient our servo before we glue it in. So we're going to take the servo horn here. I'm going to take this tiny screw. That ready to go, and we want to make sure our servo is at the neutral position. So to do that, we're going to plug it into the board. You can see the ground goes on the upper pin there, which is the brown or black wire on your servo. So we'll plug that in like that. Plug this into our power source, and the servo should go to its neutral position. So that should be at 128 right now. So we'll make sure that's there. And we will put this so it's pointing straight out. Close as possible, we'll stick that on there. And get that screwed in so it doesn't go anywhere. See now, if we unplug this, we can move the servo. If we plug it back in, it goes right back to that neutral position. So we know that's at the neutral position. Perfect. Okay, we're done with that for now. And we will hot glue this one just like we did the eyeballs. The skull has a little shelf on there already. It's a perfect mounting position for the servo. Alright, this is a small hand drill kit from Amazon. We don't want to get the big drill in there. So this will Alright, we need to prepare our push-pull rod. This is the rest of the hardware here. Yep. So these rod ends screw on the end. This may need to be trimmed down a little bit. So we'll look at that. I'm going to attach one in here. We'll use our M2 screw. And we may have to drill this a little bit to make it bigger. So we'll put the pick a hole here on the servo horn and widen that with the hand drill here. There we go. It should go through there, nice and easy. Perfect. Alright, we're gonna put the washer on here. We're gonna put one of the M2 lock washers on there so it doesn't fall off. And a nut. Rotate this a little bit, make it easier. Alright, I'm going to hold that nut with the pliers, tighten that screw. This doesn't have to be super tight. Just make it nice and snug. Right. And there we go. This gives us our movement. So let's see how this is going to fit in here. In fact, I'm just going to take off this label because these like to peel off. So we want the glue to adhere to the body directly, not the sticker. This is going to go on this little shelf here. And this is going to attach to this area here. So when this is fully extended in the neutral position like this is going to be the closed position. And when this servo goes up, it's going to pull back on this, and that's going to open the jaw. So we want to get it back in the neutral position there. We've got a little room to play with here, so this doesn't have to be precise. But we're going to have to trim that down. So jaw fully closed. Servo is fully extended, neutral position. So it's going to be right about here. Right. So we're going to cut this down significantly using a bandsaw. I wonder if we can do this with the wire clippers. There we go, even better. So now I'm going to take the other rod on there. Alright. This would probably be easier to do before we glue the servo down. So we want to find the thickest part here that we can, which looks to be right here. We're going to use that hand drill again. Try and get it in there as straight as possible. Just put a hole right in the middle there. Easy. Alright, we'll take our other servo rod end here. Our other M2 screw. Stick it right in there. Alright, then on the other end, I'm going to put our other washer. And if I can find a little bit of lock washer. If I could find my other lock washer, I'd put it on there, but I can't right now, so we're just going to put the bolts of the nut on there. Alright. Once again, I'll use the pliers here to hold that nut. Screw that in nice and tight. Yeah, the angle's a little awkward here, but there we go. That's good. Alright, our servo's attached. I'm just gonna mount it. Let's get these cables out of the way. Alright, again, it's in the neutral position here. So we want this as far back as possible. Alright, so when we position this, his jaw should be fully closed. Fully closed. So that's exactly where we want this. Alright, we're warm enough now. Alright, so to get the servo in there, I'm just going to put a big glob of glue down here on this little shelf. Alright, keep the jaw in the closed position. And center it right down there. Let that cool for a minute or two. And most of the build is done. Okay, now I'm seeing that this little mounting point here can restrict the movement of the servo. You can see it kind of starting to hit there. So we're just going to cut that out of the way. Problem solved. Some more glue down there. There we go. Now, if the ugly doesn't stick, you can use E6000 or super glue or any other kind of adhesive you can find. Whatever you have handy, give it a go. Alright, so now I can hook up the board. We got left eye, right eye. These tabs actually flip upward instead of pulling out like the eyeballs. So we'll flip those both up. Again, it doesn't matter left eye, right eye, because you can flip them in the software, so don't worry about getting the right one. or again, you can just flip the wires if you want as well. So don't stress out over which one goes where. Just plug them in and flip those down. Connect our servo wire. Again, the ground goes on top. That's either your black or your brown wire. Where it says ground right there, goes on that pin. There we go. And then we can plug it in for the first time. And it boots up. There we go. Alright, now before it'll do anything, first thing we need to do is set the jaw position. So we're going to go to the jaw menu. Right now, open and close are both at 128. That's the neutral position. So we're going to adjust the open. And we're going to turn this to where his mouth is fully open. Set that. And we're going to set the closed position to where his jaw is fully closed. And push the button again. And then we can back out. And that's all we have to do. If your eyeballs are wrong orientation, the small part should be towards the nose there. You can always go to eyes and swap, and it'll swap them left and right, back and forth. You can also mount them upside down if you want, and you can flip them each individual. So all your options there, you can mount the eyeballs however you want, and you can always fix it later in the firmware here. And that is our skull fully assembled. Alright, so here we go. The fun part is giving the skeleton his personality, and his brain is on a 32 gig SD card here that I formatted. I'm going to format, make sure it's a FAT32. We'll call this, you can call it whatever you want. And there we are, freshly formatted brain. So I'm going to make 3 folders here. One called audio, one called ambient, one called eyes. So audio is where we get them to talk. So let's have your favorite AI. Okay, here we go. Here's some fun stuff. I'm going to take this to 11 Labs and get a voice for him. Again, you can pick your own. The one I like is Peter Baker.
When providing information about a product, insurers rely to a great extent on representatives to distribute their products and inform them.
Use voice, there we go. Alright, and we'll paste our line. Have him say it. Generate the speech.
Oh, look at you with your fancy skin and organs. Show off.
Alright, perfect. We'll go here to download. And we'll save this as an MP3 file. Let's try a couple more. Paste that in there. Alright.
Do you mind? I'm trying to decompose here.
Download that. And one more.
doctor told me I need more calcium. I think it's a bit too late for that.
Download that. Alright, let's go to our download folder.
My doctor told me I need more calcium.
I'm renaming these to make it a little easier.
Do you mind? I'm trying to decompose here. Oh, look at you with your fancy skin and organs. Show off.
Alright. Now, the Ocular Vox needs the wave format to make these work, so I'm going to open these here in a cloud convert. There's a number of websites that'll do this for you. Or downloads, there we go. Calcium, decompose, show off. And then convert all three. Let's review our options. We want to do PCM 16-bit. I'm going to do stereo channels and 44.1 hertz sample rate. That's the key. Make sure all these are set to the same. 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. And convert. Download each of these. Alright, and back to our download folder. We have the new WAV files. Copy those over here to the audio file in our SD card. And there they are. I'll do the ambient a little later, but while we're here, we can also design a custom eyeball at Ocular Vox /eyes, eyeball creator. Some presets we can use, we can randomize it. That looks kind of cool, so I'm going to download the UIE file. Actually, before I do that, I want to give it a name. And we'll download that. New Scaly Eye. And we will save this to the I folder on our SD card. Alright, and with that, we'll just eject the card. And we'll head back down to scaling. Okay, here we go. We got the brain on the micro SD card. I'm gonna pop this in here. I'm gonna give it a reset. So it'll only read the card on when it first boots up, so it has to be reset whenever you put a new card in. But he should have some personality now. I hooked up a trigger. On the purple boards, you're gonna hook this up to the ground and the inside. This is a pre-production model that had a flaw on the trigger, so this is hooked up a little backwards. Don't do that. But I'm just gonna reuse the same thing, push to test button that came with the skeleton here. So as soon as we trigger it,
My doctor told me I need more calcium. I think it's a bit too late for that.
there we go. Perfect. Working great. There's a cooldown period. It's adjustable. I think by default is 30 seconds after it's triggered. It's where you can trigger it again. Alright, and here goes our second test.
Do you mind? I'm trying to decompose here.
Alright, he's working well. There's a timeout on the screen, so it'll go dark after 30 seconds if nobody touches it. We also have our eye menu. There's some built-in eyeballs. You can press the button to select different type of eyeballs. And remember, we added the custom one to our SD card. There it is right there. So there's our custom eyeball we made on the website. Is now live on our skeleton. So have some fun, go through the menus. There's lots of fun things you can do with them. Give them a personality, give them a unique voice, make it whatever you want, and have a safe and happy Halloween.
Oh, look at you with your fancy skin and organs. Show off.